Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. We are the Middle-Aged Guys. In this video, we're going to be not bullshitting. We're going to be bloodletting. All right, we're going to be coming out with a lot of bloody stuff, and we're going to be talking about the Castlevania Netflix series that just passed a few weeks ago. Yeah, this may be a little late in coming, but this is going to be our review and our thoughts on that particular set of episodes. Let me get all the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Okay, the Castlevania Netflix show, we had first covered it on our particular channels all the way back in the beginning of June. I believe the first video or teaser trailer was, well, our first videos, we went ahead and we published out the first week of June. So the teaser trailer was put out like last week of March or whatnot. And for this particular project and everything, it was pretty intriguing. Adi Shankar, who's a well-known producer for a lot of high-budget, big-budget movies in Hollywood and everything, he signed on and he said that he got the rights. He wanted to go ahead and put out an animated series based off of Castlevania, and that it was going to be R-rated as fuck and bloody as hell. To say the least, he accomplished that goal. All right. This particular show, I think, really kind of allayed a lot of people's fears about another adaptation for a video game to another media, whether it be animation or movies or TV. Because generally speaking, just to be completely honest, over the last 30 years of seeing video games being adapted into other media, majority of the time they're really bad. All right. But, the story for this particular animated series starts all the way back in March of 2007 when Warren Ellis was actually approached by the folks at Federator Studios to go ahead and write up a script based off of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Okay? What happened was that this particular script was going to be for a full 90-minute direct-to-video movie. And during the time, he had basically stuck really close to Koji Igarashi and the folks over there at Konami to stay close to as far as the details and everything else went. The thing about it was that originally their plan was for a full 3-act storyline. There was going to be 3 series or 3 movies that they were going to do, and he was going to develop all of them. Part 2 and Part 3 never got greenlit. In fact, what happened was that when it came down to actually finalizing all of the distribution rights and everything else for this first series, everything just pretty much fell through. Federator still had the rights to it. They just were not able to ever get around to producing it. So fast forward to around 2012, that's when Adi Shankar actually jumped into the picture. What happened was that the folks over there at Federator Studios, what happened was that Adi Shankar, after doing Dread, he was actually approached to do a live-action version of the script that Warren Ellis put together. So they were going to do Castlevania the series in live action. Thank God that never happened. Okay. Thank God that never happened. All right. And what happened was that, when he started looking at the script, he's like, I really, really want to do this, and I really think that the animation, sticking with animation, going with the original vision is probably best for what we want to do. That's probably going to serve the fans of the games and the media best. So it wasn't until Powerhouse Animation Studios actually came up and they negotiated the deal with Netflix to go ahead and actually put this out. Really, the series as it is, the season is really not so much a season as it is a mini-series. It's only 4 episodes long. And yes, if you add up all the minutes together, it's around a 90-minute direct-to-video movie, OVA, and that's what they put together. Which, as we know it, Netflix went ahead, they signed it, they put it out. They've already agreed to doing a second season, which is going to be coming out, which doesn't have a concrete date yet, but has already been confirmed. have twice as many episodes, 8 episodes for the second season that's coming up. All right. Yeah. So what we're going to do with this particular video right here, I'm going to keep the synopsis really, really, really short because really there's only 4 episodes and it can be summed up very cleanly. But we're going to handle this very similar to how we handle our other reviews for other animated projects like Young Justice. Well, shit, that's pretty much what we do, and that's what we're basing it off of, all right? So after the synopsis, we're going to go over what we liked, what we didn't like, and then the third point, instead of saying, stuff that we see that's going to be acted as a setup for the future, we're pretty much going to go over what we'd like to see in the next season. And if they're going to do a third season, especially if they're following the plans that Warren Ellis initially had, what that plan is going to be. All right. Let me get the synopsis out of the way. The quick synopsis is this. All right. Vlad Tepes, Dracula, all right, has a woman approach him. She's a doctor, and she knows that he has a hold of a lot of technology that isn't practiced otherwise anywhere else throughout the world. She wants access to that technology so that she can learn how to heal people. All right. She meets him in the country of Wallachia in 1455, and he agrees to give her access to that technology. 20 years later, we find that in Wallachia, in the town of Targovishta, 1475, we see that she's being burnt at the stake as a witch. All right. Now, what happens is that Dracula is returning back to his home, and he's basically tried to live his life as best as he can as a normal person over the last 20 years. He's married this woman. They've had a child together who is Adrian Tepish, also known as Alucard. And he finds out, the first thing he finds out when walking up to his door, that his wife has been stolen away and she's being burnt at the stake as a witch. Dracula, being Dracula, does not take kindly to this. So what happens is that he appears in the church courtyard, in front of all the priests and all the townspeople in a huge pillar of fire, and he asks him a simple question: "Where is my wife? What have you done?" Okay. The priests that are there denounce her as a witch. They say that he is a figment of their imagination, a story told by Satanists and people who believe in black magic to keep people in fear. And he tells them, "I will give you 1 year, make peace with whatever God you believe in, and leave this country. Take whatever mark of humanity you have put on the country and remove it." He's like, "Otherwise, I will rain down hell on top of you." Fast forward to 1476. Guess what? It's 1 year later. The people of Wallachia or Targovishta are right there. Instead of leaving, exiting the country, they are actually celebrating the fact. They have this huge town fair celebrating the fact that they put this woman to death by burning her at the stake. Of course, Dracula says, "You done fucked up." He literally rains hell down on them with blood, fire, and brimstone and demons. And he goes out of his way and he starts pretty much exterminating all humanity, whatever he could see, whatever's in the countryside. All right. During this time, Alucard tries to stop him, actually, previously, but what happens is that he pretty much says, "Bitch, shut the fuck up," hurts him, puts him away. At around this time, we run into Trevor Belmont. Guess what? He's not very happy about being in Belmont. He's not very happy about his job. Neither is he happy about dealing with the church. But he does eventually come around to go ahead and help the people in the villages surrounding him to fight off the demons and everything else. During that time, he runs into Sifa Belnades, one of the speakers, also one of the other main characters out of Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 3. And then they also unearth Alucard from his underground tomb, wake him from his sleep, and then they start their quest in earnest. And that's pretty much where the series ends. All right. I think I've covered everything without being too verbose. Have I?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So without monopolizing the time anymore, guys, what did you like about this series? The floor is open.
Thank God it wasn't live action, just as you alluded to earlier, Reverend, because oh my God, that would have it most likely would have been, you know, horrible. I like the fact
Dragon Ball Z levels or Tekken levels, yeah.
No. I like that the fact that they are following the initial story of Castlevania. They're not fucking that up. Damn, I was in fear of them middle fingering that all the way to the max. But they are actually doing it justice. And they're starting from Castlevania 3. Yeah. This one. Yeah. Dracula's Curse. Grey Mouse, what about you? Initially, what do you like about the series?
I like that they kept it goth. It really felt
dark? Yeah.
Goth, yeah.
Oh, goth, yeah.
It was very Castlevania like. I did like how, you know, back then the church was pretty much the Catholic Church rather was pretty much the ruling force of government back in those days. If you did anything outside of what the church thought was correct, you were condemned and burned at the stake. So I liked how they kept it within the Castlevania storyline and also kept it within Middle Ages time during the 1400s. And it was just like that in real life. I mean, the church was a king. If you did anything outside the church, if the church even thinks that you're doing something, you will be burned at the stake as a witch or warlock or whatever, what have you. Because it was blasphemous that you did any talk against the church ruled. And I like how they kept that, you know, with what the comic or the game. I'm sorry, I got all thrown away. The game, the cartoon is what I meant to say. That was one thing that I liked the mood of everything, you know. Like it was a very dark, very goth. The animation was dark, you know. And I have to say that when the castle came out of the ground, I was like, man, oh man, oh man, that was awesome. When Dracula's castle came up.
Yep. Yeah, I'd have to say if you've seen any of our reviews before, all right, I am a sucker for good character interaction, and kudos to Warren Ellis, who, according to him, he had something like over 21 rewrites of the initial script because of the consultations that he had with Koji Igarashi and the other folks at Konami over it, all right? And so he paid attention to a lot of things, and he also fleshed out a lot of things that weren't quite so apparent in some of the things. Like we knew that that Alucard was half human. So at one point we knew that Dracula had to have been married to a normal human person.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. We never find out her name or anything else like that. And in fact, the closest that we kind of get to getting a backstory at all is like in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. There's this one chapter where Alucard is having a nightmare and he's reliving the day where his mom is being burnt at the stake. All right. They really don't fill in the reasons why in any of the games. And Warren Ellis was very smart in actually putting that together. And the dialogue, because of it, just reflected the types of characters that we're dealing with. You know, Dracula is evil. All right. You can see it just by the field of people just skewered and impaled on stakes, all right, for hundreds of yards in front of the entrance on the walkway leading up to the castle. You know, Alucard is young, but he holds very dear both sides of what he is. You know, he knows that he's a vampire, but he also knows that he's a human, and he stands up for to reflect the type of ideals that his mom had. All right, Trevor is a brash drunkard that even though he's very short in patience and everything else. Even though he doesn't want to be troubled, half the time with a lot of the general worries or stuff like that. He will do the right thing in the end. And Sifa is, a young, idealistic, headstrong mage who he ends up working with. All right. But for the sake of this particular review, not everything was perfect with this particular series.
Really?
All right? Yeah, actually, I do have a few sticking points. All right, and if I think anybody who sits there and takes a moment to look back at the thing as a whole can see a few sticking points. Some of them nitpicky, some of them very obvious technical sticking points too. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about next. What were the things that you noticed in this particular series, or in the episodes that were there that you didn't like, or if you had a chance, you would have changed a little bit? Floor is open, guys.
Okay, as nitpicky as it's going to sound, I wish there was no, them showing. I wish they didn't show like a video game based off Konami. I wish they didn't show that. But no. But damn. I can't even be nitpicky about this, because most of the shit that I can actually be nitpicky about, I could just turn into comedy. Really. Dracula gave them 1 fucking year. You're a figment of our imagination. No, I'm not. Fuck you. No, I'm not. I'm right here. Don't you see the flames? Can't you feel the flames? Don't you hear me speaking? I am not a figment of anyone. You just burned. How do I know all this? You burned my wife. Now I'm coming. Gray Mouse, is there anything that you didn't like or that you had to change?
Yes, there's actually several.
Okay.
One thing, I really felt that the music didn't fit with the scenes. I think the music could have been better. It would have been nice to actually have a nod back to the game. Whether it be a
about shit like this or
like this. A measure or 2 or 3, within certain scenes,
or even Super Castlevania.
Within that, also, you could really tell who the main characters are. I'm talking about the art style is what I'm criticizing now, because it seems like the main characters are very well drawn out. You can see their facial expressions, their face features, and all this. And if it's a side character or like a village character or whatever, they were really, very basic drawings where almost look like stick figures in the back compared to your main cast. And I was really like, especially with a lot of the villagers and whatnot. It was really evident at that particular point. I was like, wait a minute. The drawing, it didn't look like it was done. Yeah, I'm not saying it looked like stick drawings, but I did. But it's like, in comparison to the main characters, the main cast, yes. It was, and then I was actually, when they were going through the bottom, of Dracula's castle, the very, very bottom, when they're going through the bottom part and the big wheels, I was half expecting to see a fucking Medusa head come across. Oh. And I was like, where's the Medusa head? I was waiting for it. Man.
No, that would have actually pissed me off if the Medusa head would have been doing the wavy thing, and if Trevor couldn't hit it with the whip.
He gets knocked backwards into a pit.
No, that would have. Yeah, and he gets knocked backwards. No, fuck it.
No, but I was like, when he's going through the bottom part of the castle, I was like, come on, Medusa head, you got to come on, you got to come through.
No. What I hear what you're saying, but still no. I still dread those things from the 8-bit days.
Yeah, but that was just that was more of a comic.
Yeah, that was definitely a nitpick. Was there anything else that stood out to you right now, Gray Mouse?
Not really. If I were to pick something that was wrong, was wrong, I would think that, like I said, it seems like the main cast was done well, and then like the supporter. I mean, actually, to be honest, not even just the villagers. It's actually even the priests. Some of the priests that were there were not very well, just not defined, maybe is the word I should use here. Not very well defined.
But it's funny because that's a part of the comedy to me. Why waste any time on cannon fodder?
Oh, true, but that might be the only thing that I would nitpick. Go ahead, Reverend. What do you got?
Well, I gotta say that right off the bat, when I found out that it was 4 episodes, I was like, "What the fuck, really?" Yeah. And now that I know the backstory and the back history behind the production of this particular piece, a lot of the issues that I have with this particular production piece make a lot of sense. Okay, like I said, the first thing was the length. I really felt like if this was something that was meant from the beginning to go ahead and be hosted on Netflix as a Netflix series, I would have expected like 8 to 12 episodes right off the bat. Okay. Which we're going to get, in the next season over, it's going to be 8 episodes long. They've already confirmed that. They just haven't given out a date yet. Okay. Unfortunately, the way that this particular thing moves and everything else, I'm expecting we're probably not going to see it until next year, which sucks, but that's probably that. But, so yeah, it was really, really short. The other thing, like, what Grey Mouse said, is sometimes it was really devoid of a lot of like background soundtrack or anything like that. And I understand that they went out of their way not to be too tied up with having to sit there and consult with Konami or have to ask them for tracks to license for distribution for this particular property, okay? Which is the whole reason why we didn't get anything like Bloody Tears, Son of the Beast, or the standard Castlevania theme or anything like that, okay? However, just as a geek, it would have helped with the atmosphere, trying to find that particular identity. The other thing that I saw was, the animation quality is superb at certain points, especially at the very beginning of the series. But when you get to the end, you almost, especially the last fight with Trevor and Alucard, where it feels like they're only doing like every third or fourth fucking frame. All right, even though it's very dynamic, the way that they have it set up and choreographed is great, especially showing off the type of skill that they have. But it felt like they were running out of production money. All right, it really felt like they were running out of production money. Okay, and yeah, part of that production budget does go toward, oh, hey, look, we can kind of use like the paper cutouts for the villagers or for the fucking priests or for the demons and stuff like that, But when it comes to, you've got like literally the best fucking action sequence between 2 guys out of the whole fucking 4 episodes, all right? And they're literally rendering out like only every third or fourth frame instead of, the whole thing like it would if it was like a full 24 on 24. Yeah, that stood out like a sore fucking thumb. All right. So, like I said, I really liked it a lot. When it comes to like the writing and character interaction, they had it in spades, but there were technical things that technical issues that this particular series had that were kind of obvious. Now, I don't expect to see this with the second season because guess what? Now they're going to have the full backing of Netflix.
Green light, yeah.
Yeah, full green light, full funding and everything else, and they know that they're going to be making everything for a full eight episodes altogether instead of just a 90-minute straight to DVD video, which is what this initially was planned as. All right? That actually brings us up to our third point, guys. In short form, what would you like to see in the second season of Castlevania?
Like you guys mentioned, maybe a hint at the music of the soundtrack or anything like that. More fucking Belmont whipping things. You know, as Grey Mouse alluded to, the fucking Medusa heads, bats, skeletons, have them shit show up and have him, okay, don't do the holy water glitch or anything like that. But yeah, have whip, have knives, have, you know, specific weapons that we would use in the fucking game. Just put that more into the series. But don't say what a horrible night to have a curse. Don't fucking do that. Don't fucking do that. Grey Mouse, what about you? What would you like to see in the next season?
I'm kind of on the same boat with you. I would like to see more of the game, the source material put into the cartoon or into the series rather. Yeah, like you mentioned, you know, with having a lot of the Bloody Tears and all these other tracks, you know, is owned by Konami. That's kind of tough.
Well, there can actually be some, you know, remixes of that.
Yeah. They can harken back to it now that they've got the second season money. Hopefully, they can have a little bit of funding to go ahead and pay for some licensing on that. You know, but go ahead, Grey Mouse.
So, you know, I was hoping that I hope that they don't go straight to Dracula. You know, I mean, I know that's the ultimate goal, but you know, you have 8 episodes to stretch it out. I'm wondering, is there enough source material there, or to create enough source material there to make a story for 8 more episodes before going straight to Dracula? Are they going to have Alucard and Trevor go through Castlevania? Go through Dracula's castle?
They gotta have Dracula's minions there.
So, you know, I'm hoping to see a couple of the quote unquote bosses or whatever, you know, that we fought in the game. But mainly, I'd like to see a lot of storyline, a lot of story being filled in, especially since, you know, between Dracula's Curse. You know, I mean, you play through the game, but it's not much there. You know, I like to see a little bit more interaction with the characters. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would say for the second season, I would like to see a few more nods to the video game without getting too video gamey. No, yeah. I'm not expecting Trevor to sit there and whip a wall and all of a sudden for a fucking pork chop to drop out, for him to pick it up and everybody be magically healed. I'm not expecting to see that. All right.
They've already talked about that. They were trying to get that in.
I think it would be hilarious if they make some sort of note on it, but I don't want to see that. I would like to hear. Hopefully, like maybe they're able to sit there and get some of the tracks, if not directly. Maybe some, like I said, the ability to go ahead and remix something that's like it. You know, I would. That was probably the one thing that I think, if anything else was kind of missing from Castlevania, and that's carried over to the animated series that we had in front of us. That was like, I think the biggest gap was that sound. All right. But one thing I definitely want to see is that I want to see what they do with Grant. Because they didn't include him in the first set. Yeah. And according to Warren Ellis, they were telling him that they want it to be a full 3-set, you know, series, a trilogy of movies that they were going to go ahead and put together. Since he didn't have the amount of time available, he didn't include Grant. But given how things go with the amount of lore that they have available, I want to see him included. All right. You know, in fact, like Grey Mouse said, I want to see a lot more of the classic Castlevania monsters. In fact, I'm hoping that if they treat this like mini trilogies that we know that are out there, if we treat the second season, the 8 episodes, if it culminates something that's very similar to The Empire Strikes Back, I'm expecting Death to show up and kick everybody's ass before the end of the fucking season.
Death better not be a little bitch. Death better not be a little bitch. No, please don't fucking do that.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
I want to see Frankenstein. I want to see the Hunchbacks. I want to see, you know, I want to see Alucard turn into a fucking bat.
Yeah, you know, there's still a lot of stuff that they can go ahead and tap from the video game series that they can easily actually go ahead and translate into an animated form that I think isn't going to insult the watchers and the game, the people who are fans of the games. It's not going to insult their intelligence. Okay. The funny thing about this particular series is that, you know, the very first episode was pretty much all about Dracula, okay? And then after that, gone, okay? I want to see him show up again, and I want him to be able to illustrate to everybody, this is the reason why you do not fuck with the dragon, all right? That's kind of what I want to see, all right? I think that pretty much, you know, and on top of that, I want to see a third season on top of this because especially if they're following the way that the backstory of the production, you know, indicates, it was supposed to be a 3-part act anyways. So I'd like to see how they go ahead and they deal with that. All right. Let's do what we normally do toward the end of most of our reviews. On a scale of yay, nay, or meh, what are your thoughts and what's your verdict on Castlevania Netflix series season 1, the first 4 episodes? Guys, floor is open.
Oh, come on. If you haven't watched this yet, yes, we're late to the game on our review, but if you haven't watched this, go ahead and watch it, especially if you're a fan of Castlevania. Please, this is a yay. I don't know if there's anyone that gave it otherwise, but yeah, Gray Mouse, what about you?
I give it a yay. I hope that they keep the gore also. That's an important part.
I doubt being whipped and cut up and you know, but I do get what you're saying. Yeah,
I doubt that they're going to take a step back for the fact that most of the Netflix series, whenever they're able to sit there and break that ice, they usually go ahead and continue farther. But for myself, no surprise here. This one's a yay. There are technical issues with this particular set of episodes. All right, a lot of it screams, we ran out of budget during the last half of the last fucking episode. All right. A lot of it screams, we were really pinching pennies during the second, third, and fourth fucking episodes, you know, to go ahead and as far as the detail that they were setting up for everybody. I understand that. And given the backstory with this particular production, it's acceptable. What really, really saves it is Warren Ellis's writing, all right? His writing, the way that he puts a story together, and especially the way that he goes ahead and he puts together, you know, the character interactions between Alucard, Sifa, and Trevor, you know, and Dracula with the whole country of Wallachia, all right, for that matter. So it's a yay for me. But what we really want to know, folks, like we say at the end of all of our reviews, what did you think about the Castlevania series that showed on Netflix July 7th, 2017. The 4 episodes, as short as it was. Did you see it? You know, if you saw it, what did you think about it? If you haven't seen it, go out and see it. We cannot recommend it enough, really. All right. And once you've gone out and you've seen it, if you've seen our review here and you think we're off base, or if you think we're doing a great job, we'd like to know. You can leave us a comment below to go ahead and tell us. While you're at it, mash on that like button. And if you really like what we're doing here, especially if you like our reviews and, you know, you want to give us an impetus to do more, we really hope you subscribe. With that, that's pretty much our review of the Castlevania Netflix series, Season 1. And we're going to end this particular video right here. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Every form of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it. Yeah, I was going to say common sense, logic, and gaming thing, but yeah, it's Castlevania series. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you. Credits.